5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear me? Check 1, 2.
Yes.
And if you want, you can adjust the mic a little bit higher if you want with the. However you feel comfortable.
That's good.
Check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 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 Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Five, four, three, two, 1, 0.
My brother, who's 7.5 years older than me, and also a professional referee, he was kind of led the way for me, and my dad, led the way for him. And we used to train at the Boys and Girls Club. And actually, it wasn't even called the Boys and Girls Club at the time. It was just the Boys Club. And so my dad helped found that. And then later on, helped found the PAL gym. And so I fought under PAL when I was probably, 12, 13 years old.
Wow. How many amateur fights did you have?
I think I had about 60. I had about 60 amateur fights, and then I turned professional. I was 18 years old. It was just right before my 19th birthday. I made my pro debut here in El Paso at the Coliseum, and just started fighting. And back then there wasn't a lot of fights in the area, so we had to go in to fight everybody in their backyard, and it was hard. But I was able to get up to 19-0 before I had my first loss.
19-0. Mm-hmm. How different was boxing back then as it is today? Was there more support back then, or less support, or is it different now, or?
It is different. For a while, I think boxing lost a little bit of its luster and everything because of MMA, and because all the organizations that came in and all the different weight divisions, people kind of lost a little bit of interest. But now it's regaining its interest. Now I see a resurgence of boxing coming back. But when we fought, you could have a smoker and it would pack the building. Yeah, there wasn't as many rules or regulations as there is now, so it was a lot easier. You just step on a scale, and a guy that's about your same size, you're fighting him.
Wow, I've never heard of that. I thought it was maybe because you have more sports now, like MMA, and we've talked about it in the past show with MMA fighters like Cristobal Chavez. We were talking here, and it's something. No, you know what? MMA is taking over the contact sports, or there's more things for the kids to do as far as contact. Back then, boxing was the only thing to do.
Yeah, well, it was there was fewer sports, like now soccer, and MMA. MMA has taken a lot of the fighters away from boxing into MMA. So we are in more competition with other sports. opposed to like back in the day when we didn't even have soccer, you know.
Yeah, it
back
was just
in my
boxing,
school,
right?
it's just boxing, basketball, football, baseball. Just
just
the
walk
major.
into the gym
Yeah.
and start, right? But now there's more programs for kids out there, so
Yeah.
it's probably boxing has taken a backseat to a lot of these extra curriculum for the kids, right?
Right.
And then not only that, what are kids doing now? Inside video games, technology has taken over everything in our lives. Jesus, I mean, I can go shopping and not even leave my house. They'll deliver it for you.
Yeah, I know. I order pizza all the time. I don't.
That was the end thing back then. Now you can order your whole groceries, man, and they'll have it. They'll walk it right to your car. But technology has taken over, correct?
Oh yeah.
Right.
And then boxing is a very tough sport. You have to make the sacrifices and the dedication, and you get beat up, and it is tough. And so I can understand a lot of times where these kids will say, "No, I don't want to do boxing. I'd rather go and do soccer." But soccer's tough too. But
So, do you think that back then when I was growing up, there was bullying, but our bullying was, hey, at 3:00 behind the cafeteria, me and you are going to fight, and everybody gathered, and you fought. We learned. We took a punch to the nose. Now, if that happens, kids are. I mean, that anti-bullying is tough. I'm not promoting it, of course, but also, do you think that boxing is seen as bullying, or parents don't want to bring their kids as far as that? Because I have parents here telling me, "Look, I want them to learn boxing, but I don't want them to go fight at school." Well, I mean, that's hard too. Right?
Yeah.
Do you think there's more out there of the violence is like, no, we don't want our kids to learn how to fight because they're going to go use it at school? 'Cause back then we used to fight all the time. Now kids don't fight.
Yeah. Well, the fight escalates into something more. Somebody gets stabbed, somebody gets shot now. It's not like it used to be where we went behind the school and settled it right there in the park.
Old school.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like that anymore. So you do have your parents that are concerned about the kids learning how to box and taking it to school and beating up kids. But that's something that as coaches we have to be able to mentor these kids and tell them, hey, that's not right, and you're gonna get in a lot of trouble if you start doing that. As mentors, we got to let them know what's right and wrong. Not that they always obey by it, but we have to let them know what's going on. And then we've had parents that come in and says, I want you to teach my kid how to box because he is getting bullied.
Yeah, I've had those a lot too.
Yeah, I just had one the other day, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I've had those two come in. Hey, look, he's getting bullied for whatever reason, right? And I think that's the end thing now too. So many kids are getting bullied at school or whatever the case, right? Because it's just so much out there, man, for these kids. Let me ask you a question. In the past, boxing has been plagued with safety issues, boxers passing away within the last year. How do you think we can make the sport safer? Do you think there's a way to make it safer? And if there is, what do you think?
Well, I think probably the most important thing to keep the sport as safe as we can make it is by conditioning the kids and teaching them the proper skills of boxing. A lot of kids are out there that aren't in the best of shape and that may not have the best skills, so they might get overmatched. We have a responsibility to keep the matches even, and also to be able to teach these kids the skills before we put them in the ring.
You say the boxing, the matches, we're talking amateur boxing.
Yes.
Keeping them even as a matchmaker, right?
Yeah.
As a coach, as an official. Let me ask you a question. Are the officials trained to see that?
They're supposed to be. I mean, as an amateur coach,
yes, sir,
we have to go through all kinds of training. And classes and everything, and it's to prevent these kids from getting injured. And the thing is like, back when I was fighting, we had our injuries also, and now there's still those injuries. I don't know what the solution is exactly, except just getting back to where these kids are in the best condition, and that's our responsibility to make sure they're in the best condition they can be in. And we try and teach them the best skills that they can, so they. So
proper training will keep our kids safer, correct?
Yeah, and we have to monitor them. Like if they're on the school ground and they they run into a wall or into a basketball pole or whatever, and they have a concussion, they need to let us know that dialogue and the communication need to be there. Where,
of course,
if they get injured in a car accident or whatever, we don't fight them.
Of course. Do you agree with not having headgears at the levels of the U.S. boxing team?
No, I don't, and the reason is, I don't know how much it helps as far as like the concussions and all that. But one thing I do know it helps is it prevents you from getting cut. As an amateur, why do you want to get scar
good.
tissue and get all cut up?
That's a good point.
That's, to me, that's one of the main reasons.
It's a very good point. Yeah, because they're going to that, right? Or they have been.
Yeah, they have been.
Right. Proper monitoring and safety and the headgear is all good. What about in the pro ranks? How can we make it safer? Is there anything that you can think of? You being a pro coach,
yeah.
I mean, you've been up there, man. I seen you on TV, Louie. I seen you on TV.
Yeah, well, going back again, back to the conditioning. The athletes have to be conditioned. You have to be careful how you match these guys, because one thing about the amateurs, which I like, is that the amateurs are matched closer on a more even basis because of their books and whatever. And the pros, you can get a guy that has very little amateur experience against a guy that's Olympic medalist, and sometimes that can lead to serious injury, because obviously the guy that's least experienced is going to can get injured, but conditioning, experience, and proper matchmaking probably be the best way to prevent any injuries.
Well, yeah, again, conditioning and training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Burke, Louie, tell us about your career as a coach and who have you trained and what's been your more notable fights up in that ring with the pro fighters?
Well, of course, I've been training Jennifer Hahn and her brother A.B.
Shout out to A.B.
Yeah.
Good guy, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Austin Trout.
No doubt. He's a good guy, too. Awesome.
But before that, I don't know if you guys remember a guy named Ron Weathers, and I used to work with a lot of his fighters. He had guys like Samson Pujua, Jimmy Thunder, Alex Garcia, and it gave me an opportunity to work and learn working with these guys on a high level. So when I came back to Las Cruces to actually raise my daughter, and who's 25, going to be 25 years old in a few days. But I came back to when she was born, and I started training amateur fighters, and that's how I met Austin and worked with him.
Okay.
Worked with him in the amateurs, and that's how I met the Hans and started working with them as well.
Is it safe to ask you? Can I ask you what's next for Austin Trout?
Yeah,
we haven't heard of him in a while.
Yeah, well, Austin's actually getting into the promotion business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's starting to do his promotions now, and he's working really hard. He's setting things up. It looks like his first one's going to be around February 1st, in the Mountain Gods. And he's going to be fighting on it, and we're putting together, I shouldn't say we. He is putting together the undercard, and there's going to be he has TV involved in it, and it's going to be a reality series. Sounds very interesting. And
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No more fighting?
He's going to fight on it. He's going to be the main event.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so cool.
So
man.
I don't know how he's going to do that. He's going to be wearing a lot of hats. I'm a little concerned because you need in boxing you really need to concentrate on the boxing.
You're right.
I think. He's a smart businessman. Maybe he'll be able to pull it off. I hope he does. I'm rooting for him.
Rodrigo Calderon says hello, Louie.
Hey,
and,
Rodrigo,
he's looking
my
at
man.
you right now. JC Fernandez as well says hello, Louie, and Fight Team. JC's got a lot of viewers right now. Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit about Jennifer Hahn. What's that been like training her?
Man, it's I couldn't ask to train somebody that she's the easiest person I ever had to train. As far as you can tell her, she'll do anything you want her to do as far as training. She works hard. She's one of the hardest workers I've ever had the pleasure of working with. She's very dedicated, very disciplined, and she's a very down to earth and nice and good person. So that makes it easy to work with people like that.
Yeah, when the trainer is open to anything and listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's important, whether it's amateur or pro. Makes your job a little bit easier, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you want to help more when they're appreciative.
And Louie, what's the future of Louie Burke?
Well, I'm gonna, continue my boxing. That's my future.
And you run a gym that the Las Cruces called the PAL, correct?
Yeah, well, I help it, and actually, my wife Alicia is the one that's the president of the PAL right now, and we have a committee, and it's a good program. We have a lot of at-risk kids, and not just at risk, but kids in general that go through the gym.
Because Las Cruces has how many boxing gyms?
We have about 4 clubs now.
Yeah, and they're very active. I always see them in all the tournaments, right?
Yes.
So the future of Louie Burke is going to continue to, again, a plethora of knowledge that Mr. Burke has. And the family of the Burke, right? Your brother is a professional ref. Yet to have on my show, but I will.
Yeah.
He's a good guy too, right?
Yeah, and he was a heck of a pro fighter too. He had a few pro fights under. He fought on the card with I think it's Salvador Sanchez and Laporte, and he fought with on the undercard of Tutal Jones and Yaki Maneses down in Cruces.
Yeah.
Back in 1979, you know, that's back in the day. But yeah, so he had a few pro fights himself, and he's a pro referee right now, and then my dad, he also fought. So.
Oh yeah, your dad as well.
He was in the Marine Corps and fought in the Marines.
I remember seeing Rocky Burke in Monterrey, Mexico. We went to go fight with Chop Chop.
Okay.
And I see Rocky at the hotel at the lobby, and I was all happy to see him, right? You know, I was starstruck too out there. You know, I was gonna do the cuts for Chop Chop, and I see your brother. He's always been cool with me, man. You know, and I said hi to him, and he ignored me. Like big time. He just ignored me, and I'm like, what? He just walked away, and I'm like, man, I felt hurt. I'm like, this is tree, man. You know, Rocky, what's going on? And then later on that day, I go down to the lobby, and he's there, and he's like calling me like from the shadows, and I'm like, what? Seems like a spy movie or something. And I go, yeah, hey. And he told me, hey, Louie, look, I couldn't say hi to you, man. You know, the commission's here, and I'm refereeing your fight. Oh, that makes sense, man. I was like, man, I thought you didn't like me no more.
He was trying
Rocky.
to be professional, yeah.
Yeah, he was real professional, and he just walked away, and I wanted to, bullshit with him and talk to him, and he told me, man, I didn't mean it. I guess poor guy, he felt so bad, you know. Then I think when I saw him again, he goes, hey, look, I couldn't. Again, knowing and experienced me, learning the ropes about fights and all that, and again, it was interesting, but I go, now it makes sense. Yeah, the WBC commission was there. I'm going to referee your fight. I don't want no problem. You know, and I get you, man. Fair is fair, right?
Yeah.
But a stand-up guy, and as a matter of fact, we came back together on the airplane back to Juarez, and we drove across the bridge after that fight. It was a very good experience. He refereed the fight in Monterrey, so it was my first pro match up there. It was an experience of a lifetime. I have a YouTube on. But it was awesome. I just can't imagine what the fighter's going to. And then Chop Chop gets cut, and I'm trying to stop the bleeding. It was a cluster, you know what, for me, man. But I learned. I learned.
That's the most important thing.
You know what? And it's so cool to see when I see you in person. I've seen you on TV. In the big venues, man, and you being sitting here is so awesome, Louie. So thank you so much for being here, man.
Well, thanks, man. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and you know what? You always have a gym here whenever you want to stop by.
Definitely.
Anytime.
You have a beautiful gym here.
Oh, thank you, man.
We'll
it's
be
family
back.
owned. It's your casa.
Thank you.
You know, whenever you want, Jennifer, your team, anybody, you come in here. Any help I can give you, you guys come out here, and hopefully I'll see you January 11th. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on January 11th?
Yes, we're having some fights, amateur fights in Las Cruces, January 11th. The PAL gym is putting on some fights there, the PAL program. And so if you have any amateur kids that you want fighting January 11th, please get a hold of us.
The number they call is pre-matches, and also they can have matches there at the day of the weigh-in.
Yeah.
Is there a number, website they can go to?
I don't have it.
Okay, well, you know what? At the end of the show, give it to me. I'll put it on the Facebook page, Webbox, and I'll put it there, folks. I'll download it off the USA Boxing. It should be there. All the information for January 11th in Las Cruces, New Mexico at the PAL Gym. Also, I'll put it on the website, www.warriorsedgeboxing.com. For January 11th fights, we need them. We need to get out there, right?
Yes, please.
And also, with that said, don't forget that this weekend is the 2020 Olympic Trials for Boxing. The national champions from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we have one of our own kids making that trip. Andres Perez from Warriors Edge Boxing will be making the trip out there. Other notable fighters from the area is Victor Aranda from Team Ruben Garcia, Nayeli Rodriguez from Rodriguez Combative Sports, Kayla Gomez from Chuco Boxing, and Moises Rodriguez as an independent. I probably missed some of you guys from, I don't know if you know anybody from Las Cruces that's going to make the trip. I don't have the names, but if I did, I mean, guys, look, God bless you out there and wish you the best. Win or lose, man, you are winners in my book. So, Louie, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Folks,
you for having me.
we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next is the IBF featherweight champion, Jennifer Hahn, on Web Boxing 101.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, folks, welcome back to Warriors Edge Boxing Podcast 101 with Jennifer Hahn, the IBF featherweight champion. She's on live now. Jen,
Whatever.
Jen, welcome to the gym. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me,
It's
Louie.
an honor to have you, for you to be here, take the drive all the way out here. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
You
It's
know what?
truly an honor to be here.
Great, man. I mean, the last time I saw you, you were up in the ring cracking some skulls.
Yep.
Man,
I'll be back
you
soon.
get hit hard too, man. Right? Woo! Jen, well, I guess the big question everybody wants to know, and you just said we'll be back soon, is Jennifer Hahn coming back, and when are you coming back?
Absolutely. I've already been in the gym with Louie. I'm training. Big news coming soon. Boxing is my life, and right now I feel like I'm in my prime. I'm in good shape. I still have a little bit of weight to lose, but other than that, I'm excited to be back in the game.
Okay, and you know what? I'm going to go back to tell you about what you just said about coming back, but you need to lose weight. You just recently had a baby, correct?
I did.
Can you tell us about that? What's the name of the baby? All that?
Yes. My son, he is the biggest blessing in my life. I'm so in love with my boy. His name is Ryan Moses.
Ryan Moses.
He'll be 7 months next week, and he's changed my life. But I want to continue to be the best for him. And right now, for me, that's boxing. So I'm going to do my best with Louie, under Louie's direction, and hopefully shine and make El Paso proud.
So many congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And God bless your family.
Thank you.
The new addition to your family. That's probably going to give you more motivation to crack some skulls or really perform at your peak. So you mentioned you're coming back. Any idea as to when, how close?
So, I mean, it's already the end of the year. If I could get a fight soon with Louie, I'm always game, but probably not till next year. not till the beginning of next year.
Beginning of next year is when we're going to see Jen. You also mentioned El Paso, Las Cruces. You know what, Jen? People love you here.
I love them. I'm very proud to be from this area.
Everybody that talks about Jennifer Hahn, I mean, they're like, wow. I mean, everybody is. People come out to see you fight.
You know, I love fighting in my hometown. I love fighting so that El Paso, Las Cruces, Juarez can come out and cheer me on. I mean, they've followed me throughout my boxing career. They've supported me. They've helped me to get to where I am. And it's not just me. It's definitely a community.
It's a community. You're right, man. And like I said, we saw you at the Southwest University Park where you won your IBF championship, right?
No.
Or you defended it?
I defended it.
And it was a lot of people came out.
That was cool.
You know what? We've had pro fights here. PBC comes out and has Victor Ortiz, Devin Alexander, but it doesn't have the same feeling when you come out because you're local,
right.
and we've embraced you so much, and you're a female fighter, and you're just so nice of a person, and we want the best for you, so we just cannot wait for you to come out. We can't wait to see you up on the ring. I'm glad that you're training already.
Yes.
How do you think how difficult is it going to be this time? You have a kid, you have a little bit more responsibilities. Not only that, a woman goes through a lot of changes when you give birth, so your body's got to be there too. So how do you know when you're ready?
Right. So, I'm not going to lie. Giving birth was the hardest experience of my life, but I think it made me stronger, and being a mom has changed my life. I've always been a responsible person, but now I'm responsible for somebody. It's different. Training, I've always been, like Louie said, I've always been in the gym training hard. I want to be the best. I want to make everybody proud. But now I also have my son to be an example for, and I will be. I'm always going to look out for him, and I want him to be very proud of his mom.
So does your training camp has to change now that what your body has gone through? Do you have to bring in more resources, more people, as far as maybe a dietitian, maybe a chef? I don't know. When we see boxers, they bring people that they're dietitians, they're
like nutritionists.
There you go. There's the word. I'm sorry. Is that going to change?
It might change. I mean, I've never had to lose this much weight before. When I became pregnant, I gained 75 pounds, that's quite a bit, and I've already lost quite a bit, but before in the training camp, I didn't have to focus on weight. I was pretty much at my weight, and Louie would check on me, but I was just focusing on boxing, training, strategy, etc. But now, weight has been, it is a huge obstacle for me, but we're gonna make it work. I know all fighters have to go through weight challenges, and I was lucky enough that I didn't have to go till I was 36 years old. But let's do it, bring it.
So. Also, you're a full-time mom now, and you're not a full-time boxer.
Oh.
You have a job, right?
I mean, even before I had my son, I had a full-time job.
Full-time job, right? How hard is that for a fighter, man, to have a full-time job? And because I've seen it also. I mean, there was I forgot the lady that fought Katie Taylor. Man, I forgot that fighter. Police officer,
Delphine Persoon.
That one, right? Yeah. And
from Belgium.
And I think she beat her. I think she beat Katie Taylor, which they robbed her.
I love Katie Taylor, but she did lose that fight.
She lost, and she got all her belts back because of that fight, right? I thought Persoon.
I could be saying it wrong.
Yeah, She was saying that she's a full-time police officer, and they would made it hard for her to come and train as a full-time boxer that Katie Taylor is. Is that difficult, Jen?
So I'm just going to tell you my background. So, growing up, we always did martial arts, and I'm continuing to do martial arts. Absolutely. It's family business, and I enjoy my job. I love what I do, but it would be nice if I could only just focus on boxing, but I don't have that luxury, but it is what it is. I know how to stay dedicated, I know how to stay committed, and I know what I need to do to prepare for the fights and win fights.
Wow.
So,
man, that motivation, in your eyes, you're like ready to go right now, right? That's awesome, man. Wow. So yeah, but I mean, it probably is a little bit difficult for some fighters, right? Because you have other responsibilities. You're thinking about something, but it's so important, man. The way you're dedicated right now and the way you're talking, man, you're full steam ahead. I mean, that's why you've been so successful, man. Your work ethic speaks volumes, right?
Thank you,
man. That is pretty awesome.
It's definitely a team effort.
Yeah, team effort with Mr. Burke, man. Yeah, it's awesome, man. And Alicia, his wife, and the community, like you said, right?
Yes.
Of course.
My siblings, my dad. I mean, I literally have a whole team that helps push me to be the best.
And the city.
Yes.
Because Las Cruces and El Paso are the same.
They are.
There's not New Mexico. There's no border. No, we're all the same, man. Am I right?
You are.
We're all
you
the
are.
same. I mean, we're not divided. I mean, come on, right? So your pro career. How many pro fights do you have, Jen?
My official record is 17-3-1.
17-3-1. How do we attract more females to the sport? Is that something that you've tried to do?
I've definitely tried it. I mean, female boxing is difficult because, one, it's frustrating because you don't get those opportunities to fight. Number two, it's not, I guess, widely accepted. It's getting there. But female boxing, if you want to be a female boxer, you have to have a strong mental drive. And I think here in El Paso, Las Cruces area, we are having very talented females step up to the plate. So I feel we're going to have many, many more female champions from this area.
Well, let's talk in general. There have always been female fighters.
Yes.
But not until now at the global market.
Right.
Okay?
Getting the
because we know you for years here because
Yes,
you're local. But at the global market, in the big arena of, overseas, the last 5 years, Clarissa Shields probably opened a lot of doors to these networks or vice versa, and we started seeing females be placed on co-main events and main events.
And on TV.
Showtime, The Zone. Now we're seeing females at that market, right?
Yes.
I mean, we've seen you, but at that market.
Right.
Correct?
So I think we're working on it, but we're working towards that too, because if I don't get television, nobody's gonna know me worldwide, and I need the exposure as well.
So you said, you said that you're here, you're making an impact on girls, and you are. There's so many females, little girls in gyms that want to be just like you, right? Now you talked about the television, television exposure. How do we get you to for the television exposure, which is very hard? Do you think it's a city also that needs to help, promoters that need to help?
So I don't have a promoter, so that's difficult. So every fight I have, we work on getting a promoter. Sometimes local promoters. Sometimes when the big fights come here,
get on the card.
I work on getting on that card. But it's difficult when you don't have a promoter fighting for you.
Okay, Jen, do you think it's because we're in the middle point of nowhere? You think if you lived in Las Vegas, it would be different?
Oh, it might be. It definitely might be. But I mean, my heart and my home is here, so I'm not leaving. But maybe in another world, if I lived in Vegas, it'd be a lot easier.
You say you're not leaving. Would you ever fight out of here?
Oh, yes.
Where have you fought?
I fought in Korea. I fought all over the U.S. I fought in Korea. I fought in Taiwan, Mexico. I enjoy traveling. I would love the opportunity to collect some more belts. But fighting in my hometown, nothing beats that. To have that kind of support.
Okay, you talked about belts. What belts are out there for you? Which one do you want? The WBC?
I would like the WBC.
Is there a contender right now at your weight for the WBC?
So my weight class is 126.
126.
And the champion at 126 is Jelena Mrjenovic. She's from Canada. She's WBC and WBA champion. But since I'm coming down, I'm open. Like Katie Taylor vacated her division, so now there's 135-pound titles that need to be won. So, I mean, that would be a huge opportunity, and I would definitely say yes if I got it.
So let me ask you a question. So if you don't make, you have a certain time or you lose your title, correct?
Yes, I have 9 months after giving birth to defend my title.
So you're cutting it close.
That's 2 months from now.
So you don't have the luxury to call out anybody. So you think your next fight will be a tune-up fight just to defend it, just to keep the belt?
So I can't fight a tune-up fight to defend the title. I have to fight my mandatory, and that's up to IBF who that is. Okay. So we'll see. But like I said, if another opportunity presents itself, I'm open because I would love to be a multi-division champion.
We would love to see you with more belts.
Yes.
And I think you have the talent, right?
Thank you.
Great. And you know, we talked about the city, and I asked you about the city because, you know, for the amateur world, it's been tough. You know, other cities embrace the amateurs for whatever reason, and here it's pretty tough, even to get the venues, man. You know, I do the Clash of the Titans, and it's tough, man, to get venues and get people out there. And we call ourselves a boxing town, which it is, but maybe a lot of the TV promoters don't want to come out here, right? The TV networks, until recently, right? Remember when the Chavez scandal? They didn't want to come out to the Sumble because Chavez's girlfriend was part of a drug deal, and they were scared to come out here, and they were going to scratch the fight. So, I mean, who knows, right? Jen, but you know what? Again, you mentioned that you've been all over the world and fighting. Which one has been one of your toughest opponents when you fought?
So, in my opinion, my toughest fights have been when I fought for the IBF Intercontinental title against Zarika Fatuma, and when I fought and won my IBF World Championship against Helen Joseph. I mean, both.
Oh, yeah, Helen Joseph.
Helen Joseph is one heck of a fighter. And in fact, she just fought Delphine Persoon, the one that fought Katie Taylor, November 11th. And it was in her backyard of Belgium. So Helen Joseph lost. But, I mean, that could have been, I don't know.
Iffy.
It could have been iffy. But Helen Joseph is a great fighter. I have a lot of respect for her. I think she was one of my toughest fights. And I felt like that was one of my best fights. And Zarika Fatuma is the most experienced female fighter I've ever fought in my life.
Wow.
And I got her on 3 days' notice because Helen Joseph couldn't come. But Louie had prepared me so well that I was ready for any girl that stepped into the ring.
What's a day of the day of the fight? What does it look like for you? Day of the fight. What do you do?
So day of the fight, because I'm an IBF champion, I have to go weigh in, second weigh-ins. Then I eat breakfast and I rest.
You rest.
And I focus.
So,
I strategize in my brain.
Speaking of resting, did you see the Canelo Sergey Kovalev fight?
I did.
What do you think of them resting so long for for 45 minutes?
That was
the fight
terrible.
almost finished at 2 a.m. Do you think that affects the fighter?
Terrible. It definitely affects the fighter, but I don't think they were expecting that because, you know, as professional fighters, yeah, you're used to being the last one, but that was quite a bit of a wait.
Well, they were ready, and then they were lying on the couches,
yes.
and we're like, what's going on, right?
Yes.
So how can that affect the fighter?
I mean, it definitely affects the fighter, but you have to be professional, and you have a job to do, so even whatever situations happen, you have to overcome them.
That looked bad for boxing, huh? They were
I
waiting
was
for
so
an MMA
disappointed
fight.
in that fight. I was so disappointed in that fight.
Why?
Because, you know, Kovalev, he's a big dude. I mean, there's a reason we have weight classes in boxing. And, I can spar my sister, Heather, who's a lot smaller than me. Yeah, she's fast. But it just takes one punch, and I'm going to stop her and slow her down. Kovalev didn't even throw one strong jab, and he's known for his power jabs.
That's why he's known as the crusher.
Yes, I was so excited for the fight. I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. And I was so disappointed. I was like, what?
A lot of people were disappointed because he really didn't do much, right?
He
was just
didn't do
jabbing them.
I mean, you're in the biggest fight of your life. Give it your all. Not just try to survive, or it looked like a sparring match to me. I was so disappointed.
It was a sparring match, right? And then he also said that he was in it for only the money.
Said that.
That's what Sergey said. That he was. Yeah, it made news. We discussed it on the last podcast that he was all in it for that. The WBC was very upset at him for saying things like that because it's not good for boxing. And you have all these boxing haters, or I don't know what you want to call them. That boxing's fixed, and this fight was fixed, and he just he sold himself. He took a dive for some money.
Wow, I'm disappointed.
And then it didn't help that at the weigh-ins there was no. I guess people want to see hatred towards the fighter, so people can tune in. No, I don't know if you saw Sergey was taking pictures with him,
oh my
selfies.
goodness.
He after the weigh-ins, there was taking. Can you take a selfie? I think Sergey was starstruck that he was going to fight this guy, but then you see that. Then at the end, he says those comments. Right?
That's disappointing.
And you're like, man, maybe it was just a sparring match. And so, let me ask you: are you a Canelo fan?
So.
You don't have to answer that.
I mean, Austin Trout is my teammate.
Yeah, that's why you don't have to answer that. But I thought Austin was doing very good.
I thought Austin, yeah. I'm biased because he is my teammate.
Of course.
But I thought he technically outboxed Canelo. And Canelo, I have a lot of respect for him. He has done so much in his young life as a boxer. He's outstanding. But I don't think he's fought the best in their level. And to be honest, Triple G, my opinion,
Love it.
he beat Canelo. He beat him the first time, and the second time,
he beat him the first time.
Definitely beat
beat him the first time.
And the second time, it was closer, but, you know, he has so much experience. I admire him because he's also half Korean like I am. He's an older fighter, but he's smart. He has experience. He uses it. And, I mean, no disrespect to Canelo, but he didn't win.
He didn't win on that fight, right?
No.
So what do you think? So you said that he hasn't fought elite levels. Do you think it's because he goes down in weight to fight him? Because he actually walks at 180.
He a big boy.
And you know what he's going to do? He's going to go down and fight at 160, some 65
Right.
or 67, I believe. So do you think that's fair? You said elite fighters. Elite fighters are at 180.
Right.
You have the Betraviv. You have even Sergey Derevchenko, the one that just fought Triple G.
Yes.
I thought that was another close fight, and he's called out Canelo. So I don't know, man. But I mean, there's so many Canelo people. I mean, the people that don't like Canelo, but I thought that.
I don't have anything against Canelo.
Yeah, no, we're just being fans right now.
Yes.
I just thought that Austin, like going back to us, he outboxed him, but it was that knockdown.
Right.
Of course, he's not going to win. Nobody's going to win like that. But Austin did very good with him.
I am biased because he's my teammate, but Austin, he's much more technical. More technical,
of course.
And boxing is boxing. If you can make the weight and successfully fight, do it. That's how boxing is set up. I wish that we could fight and weigh in the same day, but that's not how professional boxing is. So, I mean, mad respects to those who can make the weight and still fight strong. In my opinion, I think something's fishy going on, but if they can do it, that's...
On the weigh-ins before?
No, yeah, so
or
the day of the
more
weigh-ins... The more weigh-ins, I think, makes it more fair because you can only gain 10 pounds, but what I'm saying is if you can make the weight and then you blow up to 180, you know, your weight class is 160 and you blow up to 180, I don't know how you do it, but I mean, that's on you. If you successfully made the weight, you did your job.
Politics.
Well, I don't think it's politics. I think it's something else, but I don't know, so I'm not going to say.
You know that, so it'll be fair if they win that same day. Do you think that'll make the sport safer?
Yes,
right?
I do.
Much
Definitely.
safer, right?
Definitely.
Last week, I don't know if you saw, last week we had a fighter, Andres Gutierrez. He missed the scale by 11 pounds.
Unprofessional.
Yeah, of course. Of course, Andres Gutierrez is right at the weigh-in, and he had the audacity to step on the scale at 141 pounds, and the fight was supposed to be at 129. That much, of course, they scratched the fight.
Right.
And the WBC is also looking at even reprimanding this guy and suspending him. Do you think there should be harsh sanctions on that?
Yes,
on people
I do.
that don't make weight?
So, I mean, we're professional fighters. We're the ones that sign contracts. We're the ones that know what our job is. Your job is to make weight. And when you don't make it, like 11 pounds, wow.
Yeah, and it was just this past weekend on the Valdez card, and he didn't make it, man. And even on the undercard of Luis Neri's fighter, didn't make the weight. 1 pound off, and they didn't want to fight him. They said no. But again, it's dangerous, right?
It is dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
And I mean, it's dangerous to make weight because you know you're dehydrating yourself so much. So I mean, you have to be honest with yourself. If you can't make it, then don't sign the contract.
Yeah, and you know what? The amateurs weigh in the same day, so the pros should do it too, right? The reason why they don't do it, they have a whole day to balloon themselves up, and I think that's why Canelo's been successful.
Right. I think it would be fair if we weighed in the same
One
day
of
as
the
we
reasons.
fight.
Damn, well.
But I mean, boxing is what it is, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. But you have to play the game.
And yeah, it's gonna be hard, man, to make a difference.
It's not gonna change.
It's not gonna change, but since it's a brutal sport, I mean, that much weight is tough, man, on a fighter, right? It's very tough. And you said you're professionals, and of course, they should come in at the pound. I mean, speaking of not coming into the pounds, is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., prime example. Never makes the weight, right? And who knows if the fight's gonna happen? He's gonna fight
Daniel Jacobs.
Daniel Jacobs in Phoenix, Arizona. It's still on the card, but who knows, right? I don't know if the state Nevada Commission hasn't suspended his license over there, and they're going to go after the Arizona one because they let him fight. So there's a lot of issues there. Can that be also affect the fighter? Is that affecting Jacobs maybe? Because of all that controversy in between, he doesn't know who he's going to fight, who to prepare for. Do you prepare? Does a fighter prepare for a specific fighter? Of course, right?
Yes, definitely.
So of course it's probably affecting Jacobs.
Right, but I mean Jacobs has so much experience.
Right.
I don't think it's really going to affect him that much. I mean, he's especially when you make it in the amateurs and you're on the Olympic team, you've gone through so much. You fought every single style that you can think of. I mean, you have so much boxing experience, so much. I don't know. You've done it all. When you go to the pros, you carry that experience with you. So.
Wow. So you know what, Jen? I mean, we wish you the best, man. Of course, you're in the right path with coaches like Louie Burke, the legend.
Louie's the best.
Yeah, the legendary coach, man. And of course you're real focused and you're motivated, and that's awesome to hear and see. You have a fighter, you're tienes ganas, you're relentless, and that's awesome, man, to have. Going back a little bit down from the pros, do you think that boxing should be introduced in high schools level like football and wrestling? And if you think so, why hasn't it been done?
I think it should. Amateur boxing should definitely be introduced in high school, and it was back in the day.
Tell me about it.
Well, it was before my time.
Was it, Mr. Burke?
It was before my time too.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a high school here. Local?
Oh, I think everywhere.
I don't think it was in the high schools, but it was in the colleges. Until in the 50s, somebody got killed, and then they banned it after that.
Wow. I mean, because football is as violent or more. Your whole body's going into a person instead of just a hand.
Right.
Right. Recently I did call one of the representatives, and I asked him about the idea, and he was like, "Wow, well, why not? Let me get the ball rolling." But look, I'm gonna talk to him, and it might be taken. I go, I don't care, man. But I did put it out there. I go, how come there's not a pilot program at least 4 high schools, right? And just get a boxing team.
That would be awesome.
I mean, wrestling is just as violent too. You got a lot of people breaking arms, breaking wrists.
Right.
Why not boxing in high schools? And people would say, and I've heard people say, well, it's too violent.
No.
What about football, man? I mean, kids are being turned off from football because of the concussion.
Right. No, amateur boxing, well, once again, I'm a huge boxing supporter, but, I mean, this is where you learn discipline. This is where you learn respect. This is where you learn how to condition your body and listen to the coaches. I think boxing would be a great addition to high school. Right?
That'd be awesome, man. I mean, anybody hearing out there, man, if you have any ideas that we can get the ball rolling, that'll be awesome to get them in high schools, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably get a retirement job. I don't know. How different is boxing today as when you were competing in the amateur level?
When I was competing in the amateurs, I mean, amateur boxing has changed so much.
How?
So with the scoring, with the headgear, with everything. I mean, I was a junior Olympic chair for Border Association. I ran the junior Olympic tournament back in 2012.
You're not doing that no more, Jen?
So for whatever reason, amateur boxing discourages the pros from working with amateurs.
Discouraging the pros from working with amateurs. What do you mean?
So let me give you an example. So when I was a junior Olympic chair, I went with the junior Olympic boxing team to nationals. I was the assistant coach for the junior Olympic boxing team in Russia for the men's boxing team.
Wow.
I was getting huge opportunities, and I was so excited. I wanted to get, like Louie, recognition for working with Olympic fighters. That'd be amazing. But in 2012, I got an opportunity to fight in a reality show in Mexico. And I was like, you know what? I got to take it. This is my shot to get more exposure as a female fighter.
Doors opening.
Absolutely.
More, of course.
So I went and took it, and I was supposed to work with a women's boxing team, I believe, in Argentina.
Wow,
but
that's awesome.
When I told them that I was fighting in Mexico, I don't know why they're so against pros working with amateur fighters. But
here?
So I was in Chiapas.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
But it was professional boxing. Mm-hmm. And then when I came back, I still wanted to work with amateurs. And they're like, they highly discourage, the professionals from working with the amateurs, and I don't really understand the reason. Even the Olympic coach, Bashir, because he was working with us, the pros, he couldn't work the corner in the Olympics.
What?
Because he was a professional coach as well as an amateur coach. He couldn't work the Olympic corner when he was an Olympic coach. Like,
how weird how they know they.
I don't know.
Wow, so
I don't know.
So it discourages a lot of you guys from working in the.
I have to be retired. I have to be, well, I don't know, retired, but I have to be away from professional boxing for 6 months before they'll let me work with amateurs again. Locally, I can work with amateurs, but not at the national or
So
international
locally
level.
here, you can get in the corner of a kid.
Oh, yeah,
and-
definitely,
of
definitely.
Course, of
But-
course, here, this is your city.
Right,
You can
but
do whatever you want.
nationally, I think I
Las
could
Cruces,
work
El Paso.
the corner too, but I can't go on international duels. I can't go to anything at that level.
At that level, how weird, right?
It's
Is that a
very-
rule that USA Boxing has, or
I don't think it's USA Boxing. I think it's AIBA.
AIBA? And they've
But
been in
I don't know.
turmoil too.
Yes.
Well, they were. I don't know if they already cleaned up their act, right?
And what makes it so strange is that now boxing is becoming almost more professionalized. The style, is becoming more of a professional style than it was right after I become a professional. The amateur program was like a point.
Right.
Points.
Oh, it's a point system.
Yeah, it was a point
Of course.
system for years, and now they're having you set on your punches and hit a little bit harder, like
And paper
pros now.
scoring.
So it's becoming more professional style than it was
Before a couple of years,
15 years
like
ago,
15 years ago.
10 years ago, whatever. Yeah.
Wow,
So
man.
that's what I don't understand why they're so
Against
strict.
it.
Yeah.
So strict against it. Who knows, man? But I mean, it's always and hopefully it'll change, because when you have the right people in places, and that's why change is needed in all aspects of anywhere.
Yes,
Change
sir.
is needed all the time. I mean, like I say, out with the news sometimes is good.
Mm-hmm.
Change is good, not to offend nobody, but in anything, LBCs change. That's why
Yes.
they have. You got to vote people in, and get involved. You know what I tell the people here locally, coaches, gyms, get involved, man.
Mm-hmm.
Get involved with your LBCs if you want to progress.
Right.
I mean, just don't get mad. Make a difference. Hey, look, man. If you don't like this, make a difference. If you don't like that coach is doing, you make a difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, I mean, that's why you get to these places where you elect people, and if we don't vote, it's going to be the same thing.
Right.
And if we don't vote, and if you don't vote, well, look, just go with the roll, go with the flow, and accept it, because it's your fault for not
Right.
being in these positions. Am I right?
You got to
And
participate, absolutely.
you got to participate, and a lot of gyms don't do that. Right? I see them bitching at the matchmaking. Hey, how come I? No, man. You gotta participate. You also gotta give
Yes.
in order to receive.
Yes.
I've always supported our LBC. It's again, look, they don't pay these people.
Nope.
And they didn't pay you when you did the clinics,
No,
and you were out there on Saturday morning, Sunday
And I
mornings.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Tree.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand that.
No.
It's you don't got paid. You're there on your own time.
Yes, yes.
But they don't see that. You know what I mean? And yeah, everybody in the LBC, they're out there by themselves, man. They don't pay these guys. And yeah, I've told my team, look, man, you don't get the call. It's okay, guys. They're human errors, or that's what they saw, and that's it, man. And I told my kids, like my son, look, man, if you want to be you'd be an official, be a ref.
Right.
Get out there and get involved, get voted in, do what you got to do, right? I run the Clash of the Titans, so I know what it takes, what you guys go through as coaches, what promoters go through, because I go through all that. But so people do not know the behind the scenes,
No, it's a
right?
lot of work.
They do not know what you go through as a matchmaker. They all know that when they get there, they want the red carpet. They even want umbrellas so the sun won't hit them. Jesus Christ, man! There was people at the Votto tournament. I won't say bitch. It's a family show. Complaining because it was too hot. The ring was too hot. Jesus Christ! I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you know what I mean? Right. So I encourage all the gyms to get involved. All these people to get involved, and I know the stigma here is they usually say we have to travel to get fights. Well, maybe that is true, but maybe it's also true because you don't help us out and put tournaments or get involved.
Participate here.
The sheriff's office, we have a big gymnasium, huge, for free.
Wow.
We offered it to the LBC. They've taken advantage. You know what the problem is, Jen? The doctors. We don't have doctors that want to, and you know why? Because we don't take care of them.
Right.
I don't mean financially, maybe not, But take care of the people. Go out there and knock on their doors. Take them a ham for Christmas. Jesus Christ.
Right.
Help them. Get them business. Hey, let me put my banner at the LBC.
Yes.
We need doctors. And we were going to have a tournament already twice at the Sheriff's office. I don't know if you've been there. It's the Sheriff's Training Academy. It sits 400 people. Beautiful arena.
Wow, nice.
I mean, it's nice. And I've always lent it out. I always tell our LBC, hey, and I'll tell you, there it is. The Sheriff's always supportive of amateur kids fighting. Is it a nice venue or what, Herman?
Very nice.
Hey, man, it's free. We don't charge you guys. Go out there and get ready. And it's been twice this year that our LBC has to cancel. No doctor. And we have Fort Bliss here. We have physicians. We have no doctors. No doctors. That's the problem. The only one of the doctors that they have is my friend that comes here, and he's always out of town. He's a medic in the Army, and when he comes, he wants to help us. But that has been the biggest problem. The biggest problem that we have right now. If I would ever want to help, or the thing that the problem is with the LBC is that we don't have no physicians, and I don't know why they don't accept a physician's assistance. What is the difference? I don't know why, man. They gotta be a doctor.
Right.
We don't have any.
Right.
And that's been the biggest problem. Clash of the Titans will be September 2020, ours. And I already started right now. I started already talking to a doctor that's helped me before. Hey, man, let's go to lunch.
Right.
Hey, how are you? I'm going to go see him. You also got to put in your stuff to give. You got to give in order to receive.
Yes.
You just can't call him a week. Hey, doctor, what do you mean you can't make it? Oh, we have no doctors here in El Paso. Well, you got to work too.
Yes.
And I think also with you too. You know what I mean? We got to help you too and support you all the way.
Yes, thank you.
To make you to go see your dreams and we go see you fight.
Yes,
am I right?
Definitely.
And people's got to buy tickets.
Yeah, and they
right?
got to
Everybody
come cheer
wants
me
free
on.
stuff. No, you got to spend. If you spend money, it stays here.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
When I do the amateur shows, everybody wants to go in. I go, come on, guys. I gotta pay people.
Right.
The ring, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it just takes everybody got to put a little grain of their time to put it. Jen, I put this podcast for the same reason. At least I mean, if 20 people are hearing me, at least I made a difference of you.
You are making a difference.
The tournament that's coming up January 11th, other gyms. I promote other gyms. It's not about my gym. It's about all the gyms to getting involved, right?
Tree, you are awesome.
No, you're awesome. You guys are awesome. Can I ask you a question? Who's your favorite prize fighter?
I would have to say Lomachenko, hands down.
Man, Lomachenko.
I love Lomachenko.
Woo. He can move, huh?
He is so smooth. Like I admire his boxing. He's so slick. He makes people quit. I mean, who does that? He's so sound in his boxing skill. Like he sees things before they even come. And I've been telling Louie, I want to be like Lomachenko, and we will.
So she's a woman.
Oh, good. Yeah. So Loma is the number one fighter you got, right?
I admire.
Loma is with Top Rank.
Yes.
And that's ESPN. So, do you think that the television networks also hinders a fighter? Because if he was with DAZN's smart, the live stream globally.
Right.
ESPN's not global. What do you think about that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. But unfortunately, like whoever you sign with, you have to follow.
You know why I haven't seen Loma that much? I don't have ESPN. And I don't see him as much. So a lot of people don't see him, so he doesn't get exposed. Canelo's smart. Joshua's smart. Reese is smart.
Right.
A lot of fighters, the zone is global, and a live stream is going to kill pay-per-view.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
I miss HBO. I miss it dearly.
HBO too.
Jim Lampley, Max Kellerman.
Yes.
I used to look
Max
forward to
Kellerman was
HBO. But the zone is, I don't like their announcers. I don't like their broadcast. I don't like them at all. I like the way the fights are. You see the whole undercard, but a lot of these fighters, like on ESPN Top Rank, maybe by me leaving from them, if they go to DAZN, you get more exposure.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think DAZN will get better, but they need experience all around.
Yeah, they need a lot of experience, like that. What they just did with Canelo and Sergi. That they took an hour or more or less.
I know,
the main
that
event.
was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous for the MMA fight, and it's all about money. It's all about the mighty dollar.
Yep.
Jen, you ready for your rapid fire questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, we got 10 rapid fires. We do that on the show on every podcast. Rapid fire with Jen Han, folks. And don't forget, the podcast is being presented to you by U.S. Law Shield, legal defense for self-defense. Also, Warriors Edge Boxing Promotions will have this Sunday the license to carry handgun, Texas certified handgun course. If you're interested, give me a call at 915-740-4744. That's this Sunday, and December the 15th. Also, we'll be having the license to carry concealed handgun course, and it's being sponsored by U.S. Law Shield, legal defense for self-defense. A lot of people now are carrying handguns, so why don't you get smart about it? Come and get a certified course and familiarize yourself with handguns. Protect yourself, folks. Yeah, that's why the USA is so awesome. JJ Martinez, I know, my range master, he just gave me the thumbs up watching. Thanks, JJ. All right, ready? Rapid fire. Running or sparring? What's more important?
Sparring.
Why?
Because that's where you get to implement everything, all your techniques that you've worked on.
Wow, but it's more important. Best time of day to train?
Maybe night, because that's when you fight, but I always train in the morning.
Morning's better for you. How about 3 judges or 4 judges scoring a fight?
3 judges.
Why 3 judges?
Because if
Why is there 3 judges?
I mean, 2 for 1 and 1 for 1, then you still have a winner. If you have 2 and 2 and draw, I don't think any fight should have a draw.
Oh man, that's a good one. Weigh-ins one day before, or the same day of the fight?
Same day of the fight.
The same day of the fight. That I was there. 12 rounds or 15 rounds?
15 rounds.
Why 15 rounds?
I would love to go 15 rounds. I got the endurance for it.
Wow, but do you think fighters now have endurance like that for 15
No, they don't
rounds?
have endurance for that.
When was the last time we saw a 15-round fight?
Louie knows.
Louie fought?
No, not Louie.
Come on, Louie's not that
Louie
old.
knows.
I fought 12 rounds against Freddie Roach.
Louie Burke fought 12 rounds against Freddie Roach. That's right.
But a little known, just a little known asterisk.
Right there.
Okay. It's just a little known fact, I guess, is that the last 15-round fight was Eric Holland and Shibata Flores in Ruidoso, New Mexico, for the WBB World Championship. And that they already had started banning 15-round fights, and the deadline for the last one was just before or just after this fight came about.
Why do you think they took 15 rounds? Because of the
Dooku Kim.
What was that?
Dooku Kim and Boom Boom.
Yeah, well, like Herman was saying, during the Dooku Kim, Ray Boom Boom Mancini fight, it was scheduled for 15, even though Dooku Kim, I think, was killed in the 13th round, I believe. So it wasn't the 15th.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I've heard that had a lot. Well, that did have a lot to do with it, but also that the TV, the program, I guess, fit better in.
For a 12 round.
12 rounds, like you said, it's all about the almighty dollar.
That's right, man.
So they said I've heard that too. I don't know which one. I think we're trying to make it a safer sport. But boxing's boxing. You get hit, you're gonna have deaths, whether it's you have 3 rounds or whether you have 15, unfortunately.
So Jen wants to do 15, all right? And you know what, folks? We're here in the studio, man, and we got the cream of the crop in boxing. We're missing Austin Trout. We have Herman Delgado, which also fought heavyweight championship fight in Germany against Vitaly Klitschko. Right, Herman? A shout out to Herman. Jen Han, the IBF featherweight champion. The legendary coach and pro fighter that you see on your screen right now, Louie Burke. That's awesome, man. Glad to have you guys. Continuing on the rapid fire, what do you prefer, outdoor venue or indoor venue, and why?
Indoor venue, because it's, especially with the weather, but I will say the best venue I've ever fought was at the Chihuahua Stadium, and I fought all over the place. That was the best.
What time of year was it? Was it almost fall, September?
I think it was September, but it was beautiful. The weather was great.
Well, the weather's great in El Paso. We should have more fights out here, huh?
We should. Big ones.
I thought Reese was going to be here for whatever reason. He should have had to fight here.
The Sun Bowl.
Best television network for boxing?
Well, back in the day, HBO, but like you said, DAZN now.
DAZN, because of all...
Yes.
DAZN's awesome because they show all the undercard.
Yes, they do.
Everything. The whole fight. You get it from the 4-rounders all the way up. instant replay review in boxing, yes or no? All the sports have them now.
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't have a comment for that. That's difficult.
I mean, you've seen boxing, and the ref misses the punch to the head or a headbutt. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or you've seen he missed this, he missed that. Do you think they should go back and review it? Because obviously, these fighters have trained hard to make a human error like that. It's tough. No,
that is tough, especially when you're at such a high level in professional fighting. I mean, that's not just your career, but your life on the line. So, I mean, I guess it would be helpful, but as a professional fighter, like Louie tells me, don't be falling on the ring, or if you do, you better not show it. So you have to know how to you have to know how to strategize, and you have to know boxing. So I don't know. It would help, but I don't see it changing anytime soon.
What do you think, Louie? Instant replay?
I think if an official misses a punch or headbutt, and I think that there should be a limited time just to go back and review it in between rounds.
I don't think it'll slow in between rounds.
In between rounds,
yeah, you're right.
In between rounds, or like when the referee has to stop the fight to let the doctor look at the cut. Let's review it. Was it a punch or was it a headbutt?
Wow. Yeah, maybe no. It'd probably be good, right?
Yeah, but you do have to put a time limit on it, just of a few seconds.
Wow.
You can.
Because you know what, all the sports are going. I mean, baseball has it now. Basketball, there's been issues because it slows the game down. Whatever the case may be, right? Well, we'll see. All right, back to the rapid fire questions. Best boxer of all time, Jen.
Best boxer of all time.
You. Who's your best boxer of all time?
Like I said, Lomachenko's my favorite fighter. I think he's going to be the best boxer of all time.
Wow, okay. Reese or Joshua this weekend, who wins?
I'm going for Ruiz, man. I'm going for Ruiz.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Were you going for him at the beginning?
I didn't know who he was, so I just automatically assumed that Joshua was going to win because, he's the champion. He's physically humongous, and
now he looks even bigger. I don't know if you've seen him. Holy crap, he looks like the Terminator. I think he's more ripped now, like bad.
I mean, I've seen Joshua fight. I saw him fight against Klitschko. I've heard of him. I've seen him. I was comfortable with him. Ruiz, I never heard of him, never saw him. But when I saw that fight, oh my goodness. Ruiz, Joshua underestimated him. Ruiz fought so good. Like, he has skills, and he's fought against big guys before. So, that was such a Cinderella story, and I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to win again.
So now fans are more motivated to go for this guy because of the Cinderella story, right? Because of that chubby guy that doesn't have that boxing physique. That now anybody. If you put your mind into it, anything's possible.
Right, anything is possible, absolutely.
He got a lot of boxing fans, a lot of people involved in boxing because of that.
Definitely.
But to be honest with you, I had seen him, and I was like, no, I don't think. And I never seen Joshua. I saw him with Klitschko, but when you saw him with Klitschko, for me, he was like a slower fighter. Klitschko fought very slow. He was a monster too. But when I saw him walk into that ring that night, I was like, what in the world? It looked like Rocky IV.
Right.
When Rocky was looking up when Herman was looking up at Klitschko. He was that big, right? And now they arrived in Saudi Arabia at least 2 weeks before the fight because, and it's smart, right?
Acclimated, yeah.
Exactly. They arrive, and I have seen, they had just a press conference yesterday, I believe, and this guy looks massive. Reese looks good, too. He doesn't look as, can I say chubby? Soft, fluffy, whatever. He doesn't look as bad. He looks pretty good now. Mm-hmm. But do you think money and fame has changed Reese?
I'm sure it has.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah, I'm sure it's definitely changed him. But I hope that he stayed focused in training. I hope that he has his eye on the prize. And like I said, I'm rooting for him.
So do you think it'll kind of have? Do you think it was a mistake for them to fight in Saudi Arabia?
Why so far away? I know they're trying to copy like the Rumble in the Jungle, but why not over here? But
why not here?
That's what I'm saying. Why not here?
And you know what? It's going to be here at 2 in the afternoon.
Oof.
Yeah, it's not going to be a night fight here. Like it's not a get together, man. It's brunch.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's going to be like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, or the card's going to start at 12 midday on Saturday.
Right.
So it's kind of weird, huh? Man. Now let me tell you, the venue
was built just for that fight.
What?
The venue, there was another venue built in
amazing.
Japan by these awesome architects. This place is off the grid. Probably a better venue than any venue in the United States.
In Japan.
Okay, no, the one in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they say they have VIP suites. They have glass suites where the persons can, so everybody can see the fight. It's outdoors. You should see the light structure it has. I put it on the web box already on my social media, and it's off the grid. Money. So that, guess what? There's so much money over there. Mm-hmm. So they're thinking, and Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing is saying, we're going to have more fights here. I don't agree with it. It's too far. I mean, we're used to watching the fight Saturday night and getting together.
Right.
But this fight will be different. Hopefully it doesn't affect Reese. I think the advantage goes to Joshua and not to Reese.
I'm still rooting for Reese.
And I'm going to go for Reese too. Mr. Burke, what do you got? You got Reese or Joshua?
Well, I'm rooting for Reese.
Why?
Same thing, Jennifer. He's the underdog. Is a Cinderella story. He does have good hand speed, and his hand speed was really surprising.
Yeah, he does have. He's powerful too.
Yeah, but gosh dang, man, and I hate to say it, but I think Joshua might win this one. And maybe better prepared and not underestimating.
And he'll go for the trilogy.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
The trilogy at the Sun Bowl.
Yes.
That's where we should have it.
Imagine.
Absolutely.
You'll sell at the Sun Bowl, huh?
Yeah, it'll be just like Oscar's fight.
Right? It'll be just jam-packed. But yeah, you know what, guys? Remember what I'm saying, man. This venue is pretty awesome. It is, I even forgot the name of it, but it's awesome. And the duel in the dunes, it's going to be this Saturday. Jen goes for Reese. Team Jennifer Hahn goes for Reese. Who you got, Herman?
I think Josh is going to take it. I mean, I told you last time. I just think he's more prepared. He's not going to get humiliated like that again.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Do you think, Jen, that it affect what happened to Joshua? What do you think?
My opinion.
Yeah. What happened to him?
My opinion. I think that he's just going in just another day on the job. He wasn't taking it seriously. He underestimated him. I always do my homework on fighters, so I study them. I try to watch as much video. I want to know everything about my fighter that I can. And I think most professional fighters are like that. But he didn't study him. He didn't, I don't know, he didn't know that he had hand speed. He didn't know that he was fighting big guys and beating them. I don't know.
And you know what? What made it so special, too, is that Andrew Reese was a last-minute replacement.
Right.
Because of baby, what was his name? Miller.
Yes.
He flunked. I mean, he flunked. He flunked. He drug tested and he came out dirty. And let's pick this kid from California. And he came out there. When I saw him, I was like, what does boxing come to? Then I can fight. What? And he surprised us all, man.
Yes, he did.
Knocked him out. And I was like, what was one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen? They saved heavyweight. I think right now the best division right now and most interesting for me is the welterweight and the heavyweight. Heavyweight because there's so much people out there. Do you think the winner will get Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you like Deontay Wilder?
So I met Deontay Wilder when my brother was fighting in Biloxi, Mississippi, and he's a cool guy. He's big. He's big.
He's what, 6'7"?
7, I think.
And do you think Wilder is because he's wild, huh?
Yeah.
Did you see his last fight?
I didn't.
He was just waiting for one punch.
Yeah, I mean, that one punch works.
That one punch works. You think Reese can beat him?
Nope.
No, nobody can beat Wilder, huh?
Well, I would. I don't think Reese can beat Wilder, but I am going for him to beat
Joshua. Well, the duel in the dunes is there, folks. There you have it. Rapid fire with Jennifer Hahn. Jen, it's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
You want to say as many things to your viewers? You have people watching. Bernal is watching. Chris Varela, Victor Ancheta, Robert Valdez.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. I love you all, and I'm going to make you proud again.
And we're ready to see you next year, right?
Yes, sir.
Louie, any last words?
Just thanks for the support and thank you for having us on your show.
You got it, folks. Hey, man, this has been Warrior's Edge. Thank you for being around, folks. Like I've always said in my podcast, anything you do in life, anything, you guys got to put God first. This has been the podcast. We are signing out from Warrior's Edge Boxing. Until next time, have a great weekend. We'll see you later.